Back again. It's Saturday morning, and I'm going to continue this comic book that I've been working on forever. And I'm going to continue with this panel right here with the character. Just kind of continue to refine and add things and subtract, make things clear. So yesterday there was a lot of rain going on. Today not so bad yet, but there could be here in Florida a little bit of rain coming through, at least in the central Florida area. So here I'm just kind of smoothing out everything. Excuse me. Smoothing out. Leave hard edges where they're necessary. So as you can kind of see the expression on her face. She does not like the response, and this is more of a mentioned earlier a character moment or section between these two characters. Let's rename that layer. And it's always good to keep have good control of your layer management. So this entire page is coming along really nicely. And the feature, right now I still have the dark black lines. I'm going to change those to white, and I like the dark background, as you can kind of see on the smaller panels of the side here. Let's move that over a little bit. I'm not using any reference currently. So for me, the toughest part of the head is kind of the eyes. And that's the one area that needs to be pretty accurate. Because as we know, the soul is in the eyes. Just kind of bring that. And it's a little tough with this kind of small resolution area. It's like that on here because I don't need the comic, you know, it's going to be printed out, so it doesn't need crazy amount of resolution or a large. So kind of give her that expression. Blend that in just a little bit. It's always good to have a little bit of exaggeration. Kind of blend the edge there. I'm going to add a little bit of reddish tone to the lips. Let's use I don't use soft much, but I probably should. Just a little bit. So the lips would be a good area to use that. And perhaps on the bottom too. Lips. A little bit softer, but then you got a hard edge where they meet. So it's kind of interesting area to draw sometimes, or paint. And you can kind of get some of the shine in there. It's all right. Always keep in mind the planes of the heads. Add a little bit of shadow. Let me see. Let's go with a round mixing brush. I want to kind of have blend that into the blue on the upper lip area. Smooth some of that out, just a little. All right, so I need to work on the hair. Definitely need to work on that. Looks very incomplete. So I think blue is a nice area for the kind of the shine on her hair, since it kind of matches the outfit. Alright, I'm gonna have it go down here. Alright, let's continue. And all these kind of the braided hair, it needs a little bit of like an outline to give it some depth. A little lighter in the back there. Make it stronger in the front. So this entire comic, it's really low on actual characters. I've just been debating if I should add a little few more side characters just for people to grasp onto. You know, there's 4 main characters. And that kind of shrinks as the story goes on. Keep working with these. They gotta have a nice silhouette to them. Let's keep it kind of dark back there. I still don't like the top here. Top of her head. It's just a little. I have to gather some reference or maybe blend some of this in. Alright. I am going to add a little bit of, like it's open right here to her neck. Yeah, that works. And kind of how the suit is designed, it has these kind of extruded pieces. All right, let's have this hair kind of going over. Make an interesting shape here. Maybe going into the bottom there. gotta adjust the neck piece. I'm gonna make it a little bit higher up. I'm gonna pull up some reference. I'm just give me a second here. Show concept art. Oh, there we go. Alright, I need to zoom in to, because there's a lot of detail, and let's open it up. Alright, there we go. And this is something I do time to time, because you want to be accurate with character design. It's got these ridges on the side. I seem to perform better artistically whenever, there's potential people watching. I don't understand why. Maybe it could be like a pressure thing. I've always performed a little bit better, I believe, when there's a potential audience, or and I don't know, could that be that I'm showing off? I don't, in my mind, I don't think I'm showing off, or I'm not intending to. But that's always an interesting topic there. So this, to me, is forcing me to draw more or paint and perform better, instead of just doing it for myself. It just doesn't turn out as good, or I'm kind of lazy about things, or daydream, or whatever. But this, I don't even know if anybody's viewing, but there's potential people viewing. Let's keep that dark. So it's always interesting looking at the different focus levels when, comparing it to when I go make a piece for myself, just randomly, versus now, or I feel like I'm, have a little mini audience potentially. So I find this more fun So I'd rather broadcast it to one or two people that watch, than do it in the confines of silence. All right, so we have this kind of metal triangle piece here. Maybe like that. Triangle piece, so it's gonna have a little bit of reflective material on it. So over here in the Orlando area, they have I think is it Comic Con, MegaCon, one of those cons. I should have signed up for it, because eventually I want to set up a booth one day. But I always feel like I have to finish this before I get to that point. To at least have a product for somebody to look at. Because I don't like to do familiar characters. And I know that's kind of hurts me and gaining audience or whatever, but I just don't enjoy, drawing characters other people have created, unfortunately. And I've been told, oh, just, make some Batman paintings or your version. It's like, I just don't like that. Alright, we got these kind of clips here. That's somebody else's creation. I have no desire to do that. Got a little bit of highlight there. Let's go a little bit darker. Even though this is more of a difficult route, path, whatever you want to call it. I just don't want to be the guy who makes, Marvel characters all the time, and then you get typecast into that. That's all I would be doing. And I get it. There's a non-familiarity factor. Alright, so we've got this little panel right here. A little bit of variation in there. I think that's a pretty striking, even though it's small, I think it's quite striking. Alright, got this panel here. And then her arm piece, which is the same kind of gold color. It's more of a like a muted gold. Not bad, kind of a flat top there. Shadow. Okay, that's not so bad. I'm gonna have to go back and detail some of these other panels. So I already have the dialogue in here. A lot of it's I took it out. I kind of want to look at it without the dialogue. The tricky thing with dialogue is I basically rewrote the whole, like, especially in the beginning. I come back with a fresh eye, or I go on vacation or something, and I just don't like how it sounds, and it's always a lot of it slight adjustments with the dialogue. And then you have to keep in mind what the character is thinking. Sometimes there's misunderstandings, and what one character says can so I want some of this blue. It needs to be reflected onto here, down here, a little bit on this side. Let's add just a little bit of soft. I'm not a huge fan of that, but even in here, it's a little bit. And then even on top, add a little bit of the gold color. So let's add some. Since this is up close, some little details like damage. So it can kind of give viewers a micro view, and maybe add a little bit of the texture. Like, what does this material look like up close? Always the imperfections are the more interesting things. That's why 3D modeling can be, especially traditional, I just call it box modeling, because everything comes out so straight. Straight with, as I mean, it's straight box edges, and you actually have to deconstruct the modeling to give it kind of a damaged look or something. It's not too much here. So similar panel on this side. This is good because it will give the viewer a close-up of this character. I think I like the background, how it is. Let me save. All right, on to the next panel. Let's close that out, and it looks to be this one here, frame 7. Let's move the dialogue because I can paint under, even if it's there. And then if I need to move something around, I can do that, and I won't have to worry about filling it in later. All right, so she is kind of pointing to his head like, get it together, you know. We're not here for that. We're here to save lives. So if you looked at 3 panels, I didn't want to confuse the audience too much. So up here, he's on the left, she's on the right, left, right, left, right, left, right. Even up here, left, right. I did that intentionally because if you switch them back and forth, especially something when I have so little, it's not like a movie where there's a bunch of frames you have telling the story. Here I have, 3 or 4 different pictures telling the story. So it's kind of, oops, wrong panel. Okay, she's kind of like, she's pointing at his head. So this character's got a lot of secrets, the guy on the left. She's a little bit more straightforward, kind of younger, well, a lot younger, but she doesn't know that. So I'm just kind of filling the space in. I had it. So I want to let's keep it kind of darker here. Reflected there. Let's go down. So since it's very reflective, I need to capture some of that blue from her suit, and maybe a little bit of a purple below. Excuse the background sounds. You can hear the clicking. I'm using a. It's kind of an older Wacom, however you pronounce it, tablet. It's a screen tablet. Not too long ago, I had to have it. The screen went out actually, and I had to send this thing to Vancouver. Luckily, it didn't take too long, but they tried to. They said the screen that was being used didn't exist anymore, basically, and they couldn't replace the screen. It had some discoloration, so I thought it was like really bad. I told the guy, just repair. I just want the screen back on, because that's when it went black. So I was a little irritated, and it actually wasn't so bad when I turned it back on. It's just there's a few dark spots on it, and honestly, I don't even hardly notice it anymore. At first I did, but it's like dead pixels or something. And it's weird because it didn't have that before I sent it in, and I don't know if they opened it and dust got in or whatever happened, but I have these black spots on here, and there's like 3 or 4 of them, but it doesn't affect the performance of the screen at all. It's just an annoyance, and I don't know how long this thing is gonna last, but if I can get another couple years out of it, because it's these are pricey objects, and you expect them to last longer. I mean, I've had it, I think, for 8 years, so it's not too bad. But for the price, you shouldn't have some of those screens available. All right, so I'm gonna change the reference here. I'm gonna get close into this helmet. But the screen performs really nice now. It seems like the problem with these I have is the software is a little, I don't know, weak. I think I'm gonna have to change something. Okay, that's not too bad. I may have to make an adjustments up there because I'm looking at this. And okay. It's kind of a silvery material. Silvery white. All right, let's see what the back here. All right. So this piece kind of goes up into there. Let's make it a little darker since it's pushed back further. And then we'll use a darker value up here. And let's just sort of keep it simple. Sorry. Oops. I forgot. Okay. All right. So, and then it's gold. So I screwed that up. I'm gonna have to go back and fix a few things, which is okay. I've only drawn this character several times. Keep that darker. Let's use this value here. And let's go with that. It's got these lines going in. All right. Let's add some blue into that. And the top here, a little bit of purple. And some blue, and then we'll get a lighter right in there. Okay. Keep that darker. All right. So that should be fairly dark value there. Under the neck, not a whole lot of light reaching there, so I'm not gonna. Just wondering about the overall shape of this. I don't know if it's awkward. Have a little bit of light peeking through. His neck going like that, but I don't know. The chest seems to be sticking out more than it needs to be. All right, so let's go with this tube, pipe, whatever you want to call it. Kind of goes down in here. So this is a darker value. There we go. That kind of goes down into there. And under, let me see, this has the gold chains. All right. A little bit of lighter value in there, since it's a cylindrical object. So we're gonna have a little bit of reflection coming in. A little bit of the purple. Oh, let's lighten that a little bit. Desaturate it. And then the gold. So let's get some highlights on top of it. And darker areas. Let's bring that purple down. And gold does have a lot of reflective properties. Brown is always a good, interesting color to kind of add to it. Especially in the darker areas. It does get darker. Add a little darker to the edge of that. And down here. So this is, I would like to have a little bit of shape on the edge. Let's go with a little bit lighter value. In there. All right, not too bad. So let's go with a darker blue, and then this is a rounded object, so dark, 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 dark. Dark on the bottom where it meets. All right. Same thing down here. So she has a lot of blue on, so it's gonna reflect a little bit of the blue. And it should be a shadow under there. Okay, it's not looking so bad once it starts to get put together. Let's go with a lighter purple, lighter value. And that'll kind of stream down there. I don't have the best line art. I've always, the past couple of years, I've tried to, or I've been practicing, pencil really heavily. Because I believe having good pencil drafting skills, you've heard from guys, there's the pros, having good drafting skills will improve your painting skills. And it is very true. The more I focused on those pencil skills, the painting got better. Because I was thinking less in line and more in shape. And it was more like, okay, I had to figure out, how do I use the pencil more like a paintbrush? Alright, so I'm trying to capture some of the blue. This is very loose in the beginning. Let's get a little bit of the highlights up here. All right. So, sorry about that saving. Okay. So we'll put purple down here. Towards down here's the torso area. Okay, it doesn't look so bad. I was worried about the pose. Alright. So that's it. Another instance where you get to see some of the details up close. So it's got this pipe. I'm probably gonna have to have an engineer explain some of this stuff for it to make sense. Coming along nicely. All right. not too bad. Not so bad at all. Add a little bit more blue on the bottom. Blue, and I'll have like a dark shade kind of dividing them. Got some blender. All right, so the shoulder up here, that's going to be not too prominent because his arm is kind of pulled back a little bit. Kind of closer to his body. So I gotta remember that exaggerated shape. It kind of curves up like that. Keep that. It's got like a pointy shape to it. A little bit of highlights in there. And once again, a little bit of the blue. So that's some darker values down there, the depths of all right. I think let me take some of the line art off. Okay, it's not so bad. Let's fill in some of these gaps. All right, simple, simple, simple. Let's make these make sense. Definitely the edge is important. So let's have it darker on the inside here. Marker. Grab some of that white. Not bad. Actually came out a little bit better than I was anticipating. So I gotta remember some of the light elements on his suit. That kind of goes there, and then it crosses over. Crosses, and it crosses onto his right side. All right. Let's introduce a little bit of the blending here. Alright, let's add the line art, underline art. So I'm going to, let's see, this is called the Randall layer. The name of the character. It's kind of funny looking, or funny sounding for, it's like a generic name. But you know what? I stuck with it. So I'm wondering if I should probably add her layer above his. I still gotta add the hand right here. But who knows, maybe I'll make that a different layer. Okay, so got this kind of muted blue sort of environment, costume, or outfit, however you want to call it. Lighter there. So I have this dark piece that sort of goes under like that. And I have to fix that up here. That's not accurate. Dark piece. And it's a square piece on the top with these holes in them. And this kind of goes up like that. Alright, so the helmet, mostly a lighter color, but it's going to reflect some of the purple. And then her blue is reflecting off his helmet. That'll be kind of be reflecting back into her helmet. So some of this blue. lighter shades on the top. Kind of do that. Add some dark over here. Darker purple on the top. And I think we got a pretty good foundation. At least for the color scheme. Let's make kind of a rounded object. Still purple. She's looking right at him. And whatever shape is in the, to the left of her. Let's go with a lighter shade here. Lighter shade, let's go. Add some nice values up there. All right, coming along nicely. I love the how you can get textured edges along with a softness and a hard edge on this brush. I mean, it has so much, especially when you begin the painting. You could add so much texture already. It just works really nicely. So let's add some highlights on here, circle pieces, straight. All right. So the neck. The darkness coming from there. Then I can just see how the neck is on the left hand side. It's got these kind of vertical lines going like that, and see now I can draw from this piece, this other drawing I made, and the square piece there, and it's kind of like the neck piece. And then you have the diamond on the bottom. just kind of continue the rest of the body here. This panel here, it's got to be like an actual panel, like it's three-dimensional, not like a flat piece. So let's have this darkness kind of come on there. Maybe add a little bit of light area. The more and more I look at this particular drawing, it's really interesting. This is a nice side angle of the character. So as per reference, we have these. Let's go a little bit more yellow. This light piece here. And kind of edge it off. And then this is the side of her arm. All right, it's not so bad. So this has got, I may have to pull up some reference for that, but it's okay. So on the side, it's the lighting element kind of goes like that. I want a little bit of lighter value, kind of lighten that up as I go. Keep it a little darker down there on her shoulder. Let's get some lighter highlights right up in here. As I've mentioned before, I want to keep the focus on both of them. Not so much their bodies. Alright, so this is rounded. Let's go a little bit lighter there. Okay. So a lot of this, why I'm doing this, I think it's almost like a visual diary for me. This keeps track of all the stuff that I'll be working on. It's like a video diary. So I don't know why I thought about not, I guess I was kind of afraid to do this. And, and I don't think hardly anybody's watching or listening, but, maybe one day. So I want to reflect some of the purple from his costume, and then bring some of that darkness to the edge. Alright, so hands, tricky. Don't want to cheat here. This lighting element needs to be reflected even up here. It's a tad bit up there. It needs to be like it's inside, like it's built into the suit. All right, she's kind of like, what are you thinking, talking about this and that? I actually like some of the color design over here. Some of this gold. All right, there we go. This is the Asha layer. Give me a second to save. Be right back. Okay, back with the stream. So her right arm is the metal one. So, and a lot of this I'm gonna have to detail later. It's all getting these panels looking close to their final state. All right. Interesting. Let's turn the line art off so I can get a better perspective. Some blue. She's got these kind of rounded objects on her hand. There's 3 of them. I don't like how that's... some kind of foreshortening going on here. I'll get some yellow in there. So I'm thinking this has to be a little bit lower for the forearm. just keep on going here. So let's add some of this reflective blue, a little lighter. That's not so bad. Let's go up over here and let's create. This one's going to be dark in the middle. Let's get the shape. So there's some foreshortening going on in here. A little lighter. I'm gonna have to play around with the shape on this one. Alright. Let's go to her layer. Since I need to be careful, it's kind of above, or it is above. Fill those gaps in. Yeah, that's because it's under. Pretty good. All right, let's go full on to the background. So let's capture some of that on the panels over here to the left. Let's stick with that warmer color. Just go all the way up to here. All right, that's pretty good. I call that the ground layer. So then let's kind of add a little bit to that. So a structure to it. And I actually think, yeah, so that's covering that. Together we shall. So I'll have to go too crazy with the and I'm just kind of scribbling almost. Trying to add some secondary, some texture. I want to get some lighter values in here. Let's see. Especially in the back. Some shade back there. With some rocks kind of peeking through, showing themselves. Let's make that more irregular. Alright, so on to the next layer. I think I'm gonna do under the ground layer. So I'll create another one that's under the ground. So this will be the ship. So as you can see, right behind her hand, you have these three lines. It's like this is kind of the lift coming down from the ship. So I'm gonna let's darken that a little bit. Tonal control, brightness, contrast. Let's go a little bit darker. So behind that layer, I'm going to be safe, and I'm going to do the ship. Ship layer, the actual ship. And this gives the whole image the scale, the depth. I think when you have it just shows how large this ship really is. Where in the earlier panels, when it was flying through different valleys, and you couldn't really get the scale of the whole thing. And I think this really shows how massive it is. Okay, so let's call that lift. And this is the ship layer. And then another layer, this is the far background. So as with these other panels, we're gonna have it sort of a bluish. I actually want, I'm kind of looking at it, I want it to flow, to kind of go a little diagonal. Kind of make it more interesting. This diagonal and the ship maybe going the opposite. I don't know how I have the... Okay, it's kind of going similar direction. But just kind of play around with... Somebody lurking in the... Yeah, I was watching your stream last night. Like, I like the art design on that game. Anyways, I'm just kind of adding variation to the rock here. Different colors, kind of warmer colors. And I want to keep it diagonal so it kind of creates a kind of connection between these two characters. I don't want to get too carried away with the detail work. Otherwise, that'll take away from the focus of the image here. Alright, I'll name that background layer. And let's go back up to the ship. This massive ship. So obviously up here it's a lot closer to the view. So we'll have some kind of random metal pieces. And as you can see, as I did with this panel over here, kind of similar design. I'm gonna try to duplicate that. Only problem with this is accuracy. So it's going in this direction as the line art indicates. So that kind of goes with the theme of this diagonal. See how it kind of flows in between the two characters. So I am going to keep it kind of darker in the back here, more towards the rock wall back there. Dark like that. Make sure that's straight. I'm just doing this freehand right now, so. So this is the lift right here. This is the lift where you come. Alright. It's not too bad. So I want to add some extrusions and depth to this. Doesn't need to be flat. Keep adding some details in there, and it'll look like something eventually. And when you're doing this kind of stuff, I want to add, you know, many different shapes, kind of keep it interesting. But it needs to be straight lines, not like what I'm doing right now. Alright. It's kind of looking something like something. Obviously with the darkness, go, there's no light. We're gonna add some darker values, probably around the 8 or 9. And that'll bleed into the side right there. So that's the whole thing. Some darker values. Add some line work there. And this is just honestly very random. I'm using the thick oil paint brush again. It's my favorite. Some curvature up there. It's always fun. I can kind of random shapes. Let's add a little bit of detail, like wiring or something. Sure. Let's see. Okay. Let's continue on. Some mechanical wires coming down. Just kind of keep it loose for now. So this is the underbelly of the ship. For those not sure what I'm doing, or so add some darker values back here. That'll be nice against his head. And then let's actually go back so we can add some lighter value. I want to add some of this purple because the sky is purple, so therefore, being a reflective material, it should demonstrate, or it should show that. And that goes nice with the darkness back there. So I'm liking the result so far. I mean, that's the entire thing. I filled the colors in, so now it's going to be about detail. Have that overlap. Let's go this way. Okay, let's work on the lift a little bit. So the lift, let's pull up another panel or a page 22. All right, so this is an earlier one. Kind of see the character's background. Oops, sorry. All right, so let's see, there's four bars, and it has these diagonal lines on it. So let's work that in. Let's go a little bit lower. So I think it was like something like that. So this is annoying because it's you know I don't do straight lines very good. I know there's tools in here to do this, but I'm stubborn and like to do things by hand. Let's grab some of that lighter value. Actually, I'm going to use this. It's called Lock Transparent Pixels. Click that, and that'll kind of keep me within the pixels that I laid down. So, like this, it doesn't go outside the line, basically. So that's a good tool. And it's darker. I believe I had. I think there was a light. Correct me if I'm wrong. It's my own thing, and I don't remember. I don't see it. Kind of looking. Oh wait, let's pull this one out. Okay, so when it was open, there's light coming out of it. I didn't have light illuminating it on the outside though. So let's just assume that it's shut right now. So let's turn lock transparency off, and since we're on a lower angle, it's gotta be kind of like looking at the bottom of if you flip a cup or some kind of like cylindrical object, you're kind of looking down into it. So this will connect to the top here. Let me see. Let me shrink this a little bit. So I'll just assume it's shut. So there's nothing illuminating anything. And I'm gonna have to add another, because it had 4. Like I was saying before, the accuracy is important. Let's pull that down. Make it a little bit thicker. All right, not too bad at all. Let's just keep it kind of dark up here. All right. Oops. Actually, I kind of like that. Let's see. All right, so I have, if you look at the flow of the whole image, I have the diagonal lines kind of leading into his head, the lift kind of leading into her arm, which kind of circles around on each other. So that's kind of my thought process, this whole thing. And as I mentioned earlier, I wanted on each panel, except for this top one here, but left, right, left, right, left, right, even on these two, left, right, left, right. It's kind of what I was, like, as far as the whole composition of the page goes. So even looking at it from, as the whole thing. The top one, it's more of a circular shape, the whole composition. So I was thinking circular, that kind of leads into this one, this middle one. So his arm, they're kind of looking, it kind of goes to the left. So you have this big red object that's hopefully leads the eye to this one over here, where you have kind of like the pillar or the thing that's holding the ship up kind of leads down into them, and then his arm kind of on her shoulder. We maybe push her eye up here. Maybe that's kind of the flaw, but there's no dialogue on either of these two, so that's more of an expression. So I'm just trying to get it to where it's very interesting as far as the angles and where it leads your eye. Oh, thanks for that. Yeah, I've been working hard on it. It just takes forever. But sometimes, have a potential. Oh, what did I do here? Let's just keep that. Kind of keeps me a little disciplined, so hopefully I can put more hours into it. I need other people to keep me on track. So this is all the layers for this entire thing. So dialogue. I gotta find this left layer. Oh, here it is. So I got a few things to fix on there. So here's the gold in between. I don't like how it's not as good as the other panel, so. I'm using Clip Studio Paint, actually. Which actually is really good because you pay one price and you pretty much have it. So. And if you look on the side, let me see here. You can create the comic boxes and stuff. So it's designed for comics. Kind of see there. That's my line art. So soon I'm gonna have to be designing the next page. It's always a challenge because I can't recreate what I did in the past, so every page has to be unique. So this is more of a curved. Let's see here. This is going to require some redoing here, but oh, okay, nice. I'm going to do some old school games. I actually never owned a PlayStation 2. I was always the Nintendo guy. Back then, you know, I couldn't afford to have all the consoles. So let's wire, make this width a little bit. Kind of want to go like that. Yeah, it seems like the older games usually are even more difficult too. Too much hand holding, except for like, I guess Elden Ring and a few others, but even Elden Ring is easier than some of the older games. Alright, so this is different than what I had on the concept art. Kind of making these shapes in here. Yeah, that's true. Alright, I think I gotta take my lunch. So I am going to stop the stream. And I'll actually be on later today, maybe, I don't know, 4 o'clock, 4:30. I don't know what I'm going to be working on. I like to kind of keep it fresh. So thanks for stopping by, checking out what I was working on. And I'm going to stop the stream now. I don't know how do you do that?